Battle through the heavens, Grand World. Chapter 206 Jade Fairy. Although their soul attacks were invisible, the people on the second floor were not powerful people. Sensing the fluctuation of soul power, everyone turned their eyes to the two people confronting each other. Zhao Qingshan, this old man, has such a big temper. Did that ignorant guy offend him? Everyone naturally knew who Zhao Qingshan was when they saw him. The few old men who knew him well couldn't help but laugh in a low voice. After that, they turned to face Zhao Qingshan. When they saw Xiao Yan's face, they were startled and stood rooted to the ground. When they were walking around, they had also noticed Xiao Yan. Initially, they thought that this young man was here to collect herbs for his teacher. But now, this young man was confronting Zhao Qingshan, and judging from his soul power, he had also reached the middle period of alien stage. Hiss! All of them sucked in a breath of cold air and looked at each other. When did such a monstrous genius appear in the few big castles in star-severing mountain range? According to what they knew, none of their disciples had such a talent. Under the shocked expressions of the surrounding people, Zhao Qingshan's face was also filled with shock. Although he had been in a high position for a long time, his mind had already become as calm as water. When he realized that Xiao Yan actually had a soul power that could rival his dignified expression suddenly turned into a deep shock. Zhao Qingshan was after all a powerful man who had been famous for a long time. His soul power was extremely condensed, and it was like a huge mountain that was smashing down. It carried a boundless pressure. Although Xiao Yan felt that it was a little difficult for him to deal with it, with the transformation of his soul from the lower realm and the toughness of the prestige power spell, he still did not put this level of pressure in his heart. Hong! Another invisible explosion sounded. The space seemed to have been torn apart. The moment the key rushed to the crystal glass cabinet nearby, a light immediately flashed on it. A flowing light flickered and blocked the key attack quietly, ensuring that the medicinal ingredients were safe and sound. The stalemate lasted for a long time. Zhao Qingshan's expression became even gloomier. His eyes revealed traces of a fierce light. He looked at Xiao Yan, who was pursing his mouth and not saying a word. However, his heart was already surging violently. Various emotions continuously flowed out from his heart, turning into anger. Behind him, the handsome young man's cultivation did not seem to be weak. He was also slightly aware of the soul battle between the two of them. His face turned slightly pale. He knew Zhao Qingshan's strength very well. This young man in front of him actually had the strength to fight him. Clang! While the two of them were in a stalemate, the sound of air being torn apart suddenly resounded by everyone's ears. After which, a jade sword swiftly rushed over like a flowing light. It tore through the sky between Xiao Yan and Zhao Qingshan. Violent sword ki was swift like the wind as it shot explosively towards the two of them. Zhao Qingshan frowned. Even he didn't dare to directly withstand the intensity of this sword ki. Immediately, he withdrew his soul energy. With a wave of his sleeve, he firmly grabbed the sword ki in his hand and quickly refined it. Xiao Yan's reaction wasn't slow either. Almost at the same time as Zhao Qingshan, he withdrew his hand. The swift and fierce sword ki seemed to cut through the sky and cut through the void. Xiao Yan's expression darkened. This feeling, it should be the heavenly monarch skill. It couldn't be wrong. He suddenly waved his palm. The blue flame ruler instantly appeared in his hand, blocking the sword ki. Almost at the same time, the emperor flame on the blue flame ruler quietly surged and eliminated all the hidden force on the ruler. When the two of them used their respective techniques, the jade sword that rushed over slightly shook in the air. It then turned into a gorgeous arc and flew back, landing steadily in a scabbard. You two are really in a good mood. You have openly come here to fight. Are you not putting the profound yin sect in your eyes? At the moment when the jade sword was sheathed, an extremely charming laughter was heard from not far away, attracting everyone's attention. The person who had arrived was a woman in a pink dress. The woman was tall and had a jade face. Her red lips had an enchanting and gentle smile, and her pretty face was slightly covered with makeup. It was even more mature and rich, and she was quite beautiful. Her jade-like arm, which was as long as snow, was exposed. She held a purple scabbard in her hand and walked over slowly. She looked at Xiao Yan and Zhao Qingshan with her beautiful eyes, and her red lips curled up slightly. Jade Fairy, I really didn't expect that I would alarm you. Seeing the appearance of the girl, Zhao Qingshan put away the gloomy expression on his face. He changed into a faint smile and slightly cupped his hands towards the former. This girl in front of him, her reputation. However, his name resounded throughout the surrounding fortresses. Even if he, Zhao Qingshan, was in Myriad Spirit Prefecture. He had also heard about the famous Jade Fairy of Medicine Pavilion. This girl, not only was her strength and talent astonishing, but her own strength had also reached the Monarch Emperor level. Her soul power had also broken through to the middle period of alien stage not long ago. It was rumored that this girl was even more charming, and she had seduced the sect chief of the profound Yin sect, Yin Jushuan. Of course, regardless of whether the rumors were true or not, Zhao Qingshan had no intention of offending such a scheming and beautiful girl. He didn't have any intentions of making friends with her. He just chuckled. He cupped his hands towards the former and gave Xiao Yan a deep look. Immediately, he walked towards the first floor with vigorous steps. The young man behind him gave Xiao Yan a frightened look. He hurriedly followed after him. Jade Fairy's pretty eyes were filled with extraordinary splendor. When she saw Zhao Qingshan walk out, her red lips curled up slightly. She then turned her gaze towards the hall. The hearts of the experts, who were being stared at by her, involuntarily trembled. Immediately, they cupped their hands towards her and went their separate ways. Jade Fairy withdrew her gaze and looked at Xiao Yan, who was not far away from her. The latter had just withdrawn the blue flame ruler into his body and was coincidentally seen by Jade Fairy. Hee, a heavenly weapon. She laughed softly. Jade Fairy couldn't help but look at Xiao Yan a few more times with her beautiful eyes. After that, she walked up to him. She slightly opened her red lips and said, "You are not allowed to fight in Medicine Pavilion, don't you know that?" Xiao Yan frowned. Looking at this beautiful woman in front of him, Xiao Yan took a deep breath. This fellow had a heavenly weapon, and his strength was unfathomable. When talking to this kind of woman, one must be extremely careful. This is my first time here. There are many places that I am not familiar with. I hope you can forgive me. He cupped his fist toward Jade Fairy. Xiao Yan said sincerely. Since this girl was holding a heavenly weapon, her strength was obviously not weak. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Xiao Yan really didn't want to have any conflicts with her. After all, the faction behind Medicine Pavilion was the Profound Yin sect, a big sect. Of course there are a lot of top masters. Oh, is that so? Jade Fairy's smile became even wider when she heard this. She shook the scabbard in her hand and casually placed her waterfall-like hair behind her back and softly said, "However, your soul power is not ordinary. There is absolutely no one like you in this region. I am very curious. Is it that senior who can teach a disciple like you?" After Zhao Qingshan left, the smile on his face disappeared. He walked out without saying a word. The young man didn't dare to speak. He could only follow Zhao Qingshan's footsteps, not daring to show any neglect. When he thought of Xiao Yan's appearance, the fury in Zhao Qingshan's heart surged. While he was walking, his facial expression suddenly changed. Why did that guy look so familiar? Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.